It's Rob Weinberg, and on this channel, we empower people to take control of their futures through expert mortgage, financial, and real estate strategies. If it's your first time watching, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and smash the bell to get notified on all of our future content. In today's whiteboard lesson, we're going to be talking about the power of home equity and how you can use home equity to solve financial problems. What am I talking about here? Well, pretty much any problem you've got that could be solved with money, cash, capital, can be solved using the equity in your home. The thing is, there's a lot of myths out there right now about home equity, a lot that have been passed down from previous generations, as we'll be talking about. So some of the biggest misconceptions and myths out there is there's actually people that think you can't access your equity at all until and unless you sell your home. So they think that in order to get that money out of the equity, you need to actually stop living in your home and sell it to someone else. But that's not the case. There are a lot of different lending options and programs available now that will allow you to either take a loan against the home equity or refinance the equity in your current home and pull that cash out to do with what you need, okay? So that's one myth. The next thing is people think that you need to start your mortgage back from scratch. So if you have a 30-year mortgage you've been paying on for 10 years with 20 years left, there's people that think that you need to go back to 30 years in order to tap that home equity. And that's not the case. I've had many clients that have a short amount of time left on their mortgage that we've been able to keep with a short amount of time on their mortgage after they liquidated equity. And I have also had people that had 20 or 30 years left on their home. We've refinanced and cashed out and put them down at a 10 or a 15-year term, and they paid their home even faster by taking that equity out. So definitely keep that in mind. And the last thing is the riskiness of home equity, how risky it is to use. And I would agree that for certain things, home equity is risky. But for many of the financial problems that my clients use to solve with their home equity, it's actually riskier for them to leave the equity in the home doing nothing for them than it is to take that money out and have it working for them in the different ways that we'll discuss here. So those are some myths. Now, what are the common uses for home equity? There's some specific reasons that people take equity out of their home that make it so it makes a lot of sense for them, okay? So the number one is home improvements or home renovations. Especially lately, people want to stay in their home for longer, so they're looking for ways to make their home more accommodating to them and their family. We're talking about redoing the kitchen, maybe doing a master bedroom addition, adding a second floor, finishing your basement, adding a pool, any and everything you can think of when it comes to renovating and refurbishing your property, you can use with a home improvement cash out refinance or a home equity loan. So that's one common use. The next most common use that I see is debt consolidation, either consolidating high interest debt into your mortgage or reconfiguring or restructuring debt that may have a high payment into your mortgage so you have more flexible repayment terms by changing the way that that debt gets paid back. So debt consolidation has always been big, and it's especially huge now with the run-up in home values, as well as the increase we've seen in a lot of credit card and other debt type of interest rates. The last common use I want to discuss with you on home equity is financial planning and investment. So a common financial planning use would be to take money out of the equity in your home to pay off a large bill that maybe you or your business have with the IRS. The interest rate on a mortgage is a lot less than the interest rate on an IRS loan. So that's something that a lot of people do. And also investments in other businesses or other investment opportunities. So maybe it's investing in someone else's business, investing in your business, or just an investment opportunity that's generally low risk that you're going to take money from your home equity to use for. You don't want to be taking money out of your home equity to pay for vacations, do a high risk investment like crypto or real estate development. Things like that that don't have a guarantee or close to guarantee rate of return. That's going to be something you don't want to mess with your home equity with, because this is safe money. This is money that you only want to do safe things with, not risky things with, okay? Now, the stigma is very important when we talk about home equity, because there's been such a stigma over the years, over the generations that's been passed down about why you shouldn't use home equity, and that borrowing against anything, including your home, is a bad thing. So really where this started out is the Great Depression mentality back in the earlier 1900s. So what happened back then is people had these mortgages, and when they hit tough times, the foreclosure laws were not like they are today, and the bank could just take their home very, very quickly. So people would go behind, they'd lose a job, and within just a very short period of time, the bank would take their home. then they would tell any and everyone, as well as future generations, the bank is bad. We don't want the bank. Get rid of the bank as soon as you can. And that's what started this whole history of why it's so important for people to pay their mortgages off, pay them to zero, is because of this Great Depression mentality. So this stigma has continued to proliferate through the generations to where today, even when it makes sense, people will say, no, my parents told me, my grandparents told me, never borrow from home equity. It's a bad thing. And I would say that couldn't be further from the truth. Many people are leaving thousands or tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table in both equity and savings by not taking advantage, by not getting access to that money. So definitely think about that when you've got that movie playing in your head of what you were told. Is it based on current facts, relevant facts, or is it based on financial advice from decades, generations ago? All right, so that's what we're going to say as far as stigma. Now, interest rates, whenever we're talking about borrowing money, interest rates are top of mind, right? So when it comes to actually accessing your home equity, while interest rates are important, they're only one piece of the whole equation. And what I mean is, if you've got a mortgage right now that's at 3 or 4%, and you're looking at borrowing, refinancing at 6, 7 or more percent, if we just look at that side by side, why would you do that? It doesn't make sense. You're going from a 3 or 4 to a 6 or 7. But when we step back and look at the whole picture, what if that 6 or 7% rate that you're getting is going to pay off credit card debt that's at 20, 25, 30%? Then does it make sense? What if that 6 or 7% mortgage that you're going to take to liquidate your equity is going to save you $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 or more a month? Then does it make sense to look at that higher interest rate if it's going to save you all that money? So again, interest rate is important, but it's only one piece of the equation. You want to look at the interest rate, the monthly payment, how much money you're saving, and the break-even point, which is the point that the money it's costing you to get that loan or to liquidate that equity out is going to be paid back. If you're saving $1,000 a month and it's going to cost you $10,000 in cost to do that, it's a 10-month break even. Generally, when it comes to financial planning, most say a break even of 24 to 36 months or less is the sweet spot. You want to be below that break even of 24 to 36 months in order to make it worthwhile to tap the equity. So that's my spiel on the interest rates. And the last thing to discuss with you guys is multiple uses, using the home equity multiple times. Many think that, oh, if I did a cash out once, I can't do it again. Oh, I refinanced or I did a home equity loan a year or two ago, so I'm tapped out. I can't do it again. But what you need to realize is that in the current state of the market, the home values are going up and the mortgage balances are going down, and that's creating this gap that you can use in home equity, whereas before you might have not been able to do it every year or two. In the current state of the real estate market, I've had people that are refinancing every couple of years in order to tap that home equity. So you are able to do it multiple times. Just work with an advisor that understands the guidelines. The guidelines on this are, as of now, a minimum of 12 months with Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac from when you did your last mortgage until you can do a new cash out refinancing mortgage, okay? So it's a 12-month seasoning, and that's a recent guideline that was put in place. So I hope this gives you some knowledge, gives you some confidence in moving forward with tapping the equity in your home to solve your financial issues. If you know someone else that could benefit from this information, share this video with them. And I do offer personal one-on-one consultations. I'm licensed in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Florida, and I have colleagues all over the country. You can reach me directly by call, text, or private message, and my direct line is 860-413-3938. As always, I hope that helps, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.